Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Flying Squirrels, and by
Clean water is one of our most valuable resources. Conserving it should be all of our responsibility. Remember every day to make every drop count. Wash full loads, take shorter showers, turn off your faucet. Water, use it wisely. Let's commit to conserve.
Independence Day may be over, but Funville still has fireworks to spare on and over the field. Jay and Sam recap the Squirrels' strong first-half start, and the Eastern League heads into the All-Star break. Then, we meet the crew that makes sure the grass is always greener at the Diamond. Next, Sam chats with Giants' top 20 prospect Ryan Howard. Plus, Jay goes into the cage with hitting coach Francisco Morales to work on hitting pitches low in the zone. Another action-packed Flying Squirrels Insider starts right now.
And welcome into Flying Squirrels Insider. We've got an all-star caliber show for you this week as we take hitting lessons with hitting coach Francisco Morales and learn how Steve Ruckman keeps the playing surface at the Diamond in mint condition. But first, we'd like to thank our friends at Utility Buddy from the City of Richmond Department of Public Utilities. They make us aware of Richmond's natural gas safety program. If you cook or heat with natural gas, then you live near a natural gas pipeline. If you expose or cause damage to a pipeline, no matter how minor it might seem, call 646-7000. Also, as always, if you want to win free stuff, give us a text to FSI at 63975. Message and data rates may apply. Mobile services provided by Opt-in Technologies. With that said, I'll bring in my broadcast partner, Sam Ravitch, as we approach the July 4th weekend. And Sam, the holiday Independence Day at the Diamond, always a celebration. Another record-tying crowd for the Flying Squirrels, 9,810 on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's almost like July 4th and baseball are synonymous. You go back to watching the Sandlot in that big epic scene with the fireworks on the old baseball field. And of course, to see all those fans out there tying a single game record is so awesome to see. But that's the city of Richmond for you, and I think it's almost grown to be expected now. Yeah,
absolutely. A tradition at the Boulevard and at the Diamond. Now for the Squirrels, they did not win, unfortunately, on July the 4th. They've been in a little bit of a slide at 41-42, but we're going to start today with the All-Star nominations that the Eastern League announced last week. The Flying Squirrels getting 5 players to that list.
Yeah, 5 players that I think are all deserving too. And when you look at the sheer caliber of players in the Eastern League this year, you got Sean Anderson, who's arguably one of the better pitchers in the Eastern League. Luigi Rodriguez has been one of the best hitters in the entire league. Dylan McNamara, one of the best out of the bullpen. Ryan Howard is a top prospect at shortstop, and then Caleb Simpson, who was injured on the road trip. But this is a great group of guys, first and foremost, and well deserving that they earned some of their first and for some their second nod to the All-Star game.
Let's start with Anderson, who's led the Flying Squirrels in strikeouts. He's been at the top of the league in that category, along with ERA. We've talked about him throughout the course of this season, but we just got news before we started recording today that Anderson is actually not going to pitch in the All-Star game because he's getting an opportunity to pitch in the Futures game, which precedes the Major League Baseball All-Star game this year in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that's like the All-Star game of all prospects. I mean, that's a great nod for Sean Anderson to get. And this was his first All-Star game that he was going to play in this year, and he was incredibly excited to go up to Trenton and play. But now I think he'll be even a little bit more excited to play down in D.C. at that Futures game.
Yeah, so we'll be following Anderson's progress. That Futures game coming up a week after the Flying Squirrels All-Star game, which will be on the 10th and 11th of next week. Now, for Anderson, you talk about trying to showcase guys as an organization. That's what the Futures game does. For Luigi Rodriguez, he's, of course, earned this nomination because he's been an all-star from the get-go, but it's been the power recently that I think has separated Luigi from terms of other guys on the team.
Yeah, 10 home runs for Luigi Rodriguez, now 7 of which coming in the month of June. And I think in such a short span as well, he's really crept up and provided a lot of runs for the Flying Squirrels when there weren't a lot of runs to come by. And you saw also in the month-by-month splits for Luigi, the averages went down a little bit in the month of June, but the power went up. So it's kind of you pick your poison there with Luigi Rodriguez.
And he's actually going to be playing in the Home Run Derby. That'll be on the 10th of July in Trenton, New Jersey. So we look forward to following up with that and seeing how Luigi does. This will be his second Home Run Derby and his second All-Star nomination, being an All-Star in the Carolina League a couple of years ago. One other note to round out those All-Stars, we mentioned Caleb Simpson, who was injured just 2 days before the All-Star rosters were announced. He is on the team, however, cannot pitch in the game due to injury, and a guy that's battled injuries over the course of his career. We had him on this show. He was very open about the progress that he's gone through over the course of his career, and we wish him a speedy recovery for the Richmond Flying Squirrels. Sam, we mentioned July 4th at the Diamond. The Squirrels actually lost 8-0, and they've had a bit of a downturn in terms of offense and being shut out, something that they weren't accustomed to early on this year.
What, it takes 66 games until the Flying Squirrels are shut out this year. And look, it's going to happen over the course of a season. But I think the reason for some of these shutouts that you're seeing towards the end of the All-Star, or towards the start of the All-Star break, players are tired. Everybody's a little banged up. But to see it happen, 3 times over the last week and a half or so isn't exactly all that. It's a bit disconcerting, but I think the Squirrels are going to try to finish strong through the All-Star break, but you don't like to see 8-0 shutouts.
Yeah, it's always tough to get into that break where you've got 3 days off consecutively. The Squirrels have been banged up with guys on the disabled list like Ronnie Jabavi and others. Corey Taylor has still been out from the team, so hopefully after the break, the Squirrels will be healthy and ready to go. They've had CJ Hinojosa in the leadoff spot recently. This is the time of year where teams start to change their DNA because guys get called up to AAA. We've seen that not only with Miguel Gomez, but also Jordan Johnson. Yeah,
guys get called up to AAA or guys get traded, unfortunately, and that's just the game of baseball. But, I think it's great to have guys like CJ Hinojosa on the team who can provide base hits. They hit for contact. And also to have CJ Hinojosa and Ryan Howard up the middle. I mean, Hinojosa was an all-star at this league last year, and Ryan Howard's going to be an all-star this year. That's a pretty good middle of the infield, and I argue one of the best in the Eastern League.
Squirrels taking on the Akron Rubber Ducks this weekend at the ballpark, and this has been a tough team for Richmond. This is the team that's been there at the top of the Western Division, so you need to get a couple of the wins to feel good about going into the break.
Yeah, and we were talking to manager Willie Harris, too, on our Flying Squirrels pregame show about the messages that he's sharing with the team as they go into the All-Star break. And he says, look, we need to be playing as hard as we can because from a lot of these guys, it may be the All-Star break, and who knows, you get traded or you don't play on the team anymore. But try to play hard through the break.
We'll keep you updated with if anybody gets traded come the end of July, also with the All-Star performances. Sam, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Jeff.
More to come here on Flying Squirrels Insider, our next edition of Squirrel versus Squirrel. Squirrel versus Squirrel, Iron Chef style. And today's secret ingredient is peanut butter and jelly. Gentlemen, your time starts now. Painting the corners like a true pitcher. Look at the right-hander, the finesse that he has. Like a maitre d' serving a fine wine. Perfection. And not see. No, you got to use the knife.
Massage.
You okay? All right. The coup de grace, a fine cutting of the crust. Time to look at what we've created, and keep in mind presentation does matter. See? It's a whole jar! How does your lawn at home look? Do you have the best lawn in the neighborhood?
Pretty close to it.
So we'll take a look here at some of the tools that you use to, obviously you mow the grass, right? Everyone knows what is a riding lawnmower. Is there anything special about your mower? It does have a name.
It does.
Bessie. It does?
Yeah, it's called a triplex mower. It's because it has 3 mowing units. It's not like your homeowners where it's got a blade that rotates around.
Okay.
This is specialized golf equipment, basically, that it has a reel, and that reel spins and comes across a blade, and it kind of creates like a scissor action when it cuts. So it's a nice cleaner cut. It doesn't rip like what a rotary mower does.
I meant, does it have a name like a ship has a name, like
oh, no.
Bessie or,
Bodie
McBoatface? Loch Ness?
No.
Yeah, no. Okay.
No.
What if there's somebody at home who wants to learn how to mow a pattern into their yard? Where do you begin on that?
First off, it's not the different heights of cut. That's a pretty good misconception.
Okay.
It's actually the direction of the way the grass is laying. When it's facing away from you, you get a lot of shininess off the blade, and that's why it looks bright. And when it's dark, you're looking into the canopy, so that's why it looks dark.
So it's a series of cutting
forwards
one
and
way,
backwards,
and then the other way, and then the other way.
Yeah.
Now, Kyle, this is your first season on the grounds crew with the Flying Squirrels. What's the most challenging thing that you've found here in terms of trying to maintain the field and the day-to-day operations of it?
I mean, the biggest thing is foot traffic, especially from the dugout to the plate every day. It's like a cow path through a pasture field. They walk the same 2-foot path every day. So
it's routine, right?
It is.
You got to step on the same
it's
portion
habit,
of the
it's
field.
routine,
Yeah.
it's superstition.
Yeah. Now, another part of kind of the overall baseball aspect, of course, is the plate and the mound. I know, Kyle, you've been involved with this, kind of rebuilding a mound, right? I mean, what goes into making sure that the mound is the correct height and the plate is stamped down? I mean, you stamp down the plate every night, right?
Yep. Yep. We fix the mound and plate and bullpens every night after every game. But to ensure that we have the proper slope and proper height, we have specialized equipment that we measure everything with. We've got a transit that we can set up to know that we're 10 inches above the home plate. We've got a template that will tell us what our slope is, and we check that once or twice a year.
Do the pitchers ever say, hey, Ruck, this mound isn't regulation. I need to bump it up a little bit?
It's funny you say that. When we had Ryan Vogelsong come through for a rehab, he noticed one little thing was off, and I didn't think it looked off at all, but we checked it, and sure enough, it was off.
He
could tell, yeah.
That much experience in
Yep.
the guy. Well, can you show us some of that equipment?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. So this is the cool part of the job, right?
yeah.
This is the fun part. You get to play with different
Toys.
Yeah. All right. So let's see some of these. This is the main mower that we were talking about earlier.
So this is the triplex mower that we
Okay.
use for the outfield and the foul territory, and this mower here is what we use for the infield.
What percentage? I mean, how many hours a day are you on this thing?
About hour and a half to 2.
What are you listening to? There's you got an iPad, the phone. Are you listening?
Phone with Pandora.
Okay.
Yeah.
Country music?
Some country stations, like a Zach Brown station or a Metallica station.
You're not listening to old Flying Squirrels radio broadcasts, or?
Sadly, they don't have that on
No.
Pandora. Otherwise, I would.
Kyle, you've sort of taken control of mowing the infield, right? Which is a separate tool than mowing the outfield. That's this thing right here. What is this?
It's just the push mower we use on the infield. This right here,
Yeah.
when you push that down, it goes, pull it back, it stops.
That's it?
You flip the switch, pull the cord, it's on. This adjusts the throttle. I can rev the engine up
Okay.
or slow it down, and then it's just go, don't go.
This guy right here, this is used to drag the infield.
Yep, this
Can
is
you
our
tell us
infield
what
drag.
dragging the infield is and why we do it?
So the biggest reason is that we want to smooth everything out from all the cleat marks and all the ball marks. That way it's nice and smooth. Before the game, middle of the game, that's when we come out with the hand drags, and then post-game as well.
So 4 times a day you drag the infield.
That's
Twice
what
during
we
the
do.
game, once before, once after. Okay, and it starts with this guy.
Yeah.
Before and after.
Right.
And then in the games, we got the Molly Maids.
Right.
They take care of that. And you guys are also in charge of the bases.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 4 different sets of bases over here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure a lot of people realize how the bases are actually secured
Yeah.
into the field. Can you
Yeah.
show us?
So on the base, you've got this metal shaft that comes out, and in the dirt there's a metal sleeve that this just sits right in.
So that's when a guy slides into second base. You know, remember when you're playing as a kid, the base goes flying into the outfield? That doesn't happen.
That
because
doesn't
this
happen unless you're Slade Heathcock and you bend one.
Well, hey, we appreciate you guys taking the time today. Can I take this bad boy for a spin?
Sure, why not?
All right. I'm going to give her a name, too.
That's fine.
Okay. We got more to come on Flying Squirrels Insider.
We continue on Flying Squirrels Insider here at the Diamond. We're now joined by Flying Squirrels shortstop and top prospect for the San Francisco Giants, Ryan Howard. Ryan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about your injury and how you've been out of the game a little bit now. You're coming back. The rehab process for you, what's it been like?
You know, it's been tough. I've never actually really had an injury that's sidelined me. And then that was kind of a freak accident late in the game, and it's been tough. You know, it's trying to just embrace it, getting there every day with Hero, who in my opinion does an unbelievable job. He's really good at what he does. Making sure I get my rehab stuff in, and just trying to get back out there as quick as possible. I mean, obviously I'd much rather be out there, but you know, it's a long season, and just trying to take it and learn from it, and then hopefully it doesn't happen again.
You're hitting above 300 right now before your injury. Now, how do you pick up things right after you come off the disabled list? Obviously, there's so much work that you put in. You were here, you know, early today before the team even had to get here. You know, how do you go about reacclimating into live game action?
Right, yeah, you know, I try to get here early so I can knock my stuff out, just so the guys who are in the lineup tonight, they don't have to wait on me to get my stuff done, so they can get Hero. And but it's more just trying to just keep your routine similar. So I'm planning on coming back on Sunday, so I'm gonna try to get in, stand in on some bullpens, just kind of get the eyes trained, take as many swings as Hero will let me in the cage. Hopefully get some ground balls in today if we get the tarp off the field, and just trying to just keep the routine as the same as if I was playing. And that's pretty much it.
Ryan went to the University of Missouri. It was drafted by the San Francisco Giants out of Mizzou. Talk about, for some of our listeners and fans, what exactly it's like to play in the SEC. I mean, I've called a couple of games in the SEC, and it's just a different kind of baseball than anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlike any other conference or professional baseball. I mean, when you get that many rowdy college students, I mean, I specifically remember Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU. It's a different animal, and I think it's a great place for guys to go and develop before they get to professional baseball. I mean, I can't imagine myself coming into professional baseball when I was a freshman at Mizzou. I would have really struggled here, and you kind of have more of a set schedule for yourself. So here you're kind of on your own. There you got coaches and stuff looking after you. And the SEC to me is everything. I watch SEC football, watch SEC baseball. You know, I try to root for the conference, and it's unbelievable the amount of support that they get in that conference.
And there's a lot of talk now too. Do you get drafted out of high school? What are the rounds that you are allowed to go in? I mean, say hypothetically you're drafted in the 3rd round out of high school. You also have an offer from Missouri, or you have another offer from an SEC school. What does Ryan Howard do?
I mean, my advice, just when I was in high school, I wanted to go play pro ball, and then opportunity didn't present itself. So I went to college and played at Mizzou, and I'm so glad that I did that. I was just able to mature, and I think it's going to be different for each kid. It's all about kind of your maturity level and where you're at. I would say for 95% of kids, their best option is going to be go to school, unless they're offering you life-altering money. Go to school, get your degree, and you know, then you're kind of set yourself up for life if baseball doesn't work out, because there's a lot of things that can happen, injury. I mean, this game can be taken away from you any day. So I would advise majority kids to go to school.
That's Ryan Howard joining us here on Flying Squirrels Insider. Ryan, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we got Francisco Morales in the cage with Jay. Who's a better hitter? Stay tuned to find out.
Welcome inside the Flying Squirrels batting cage. This is where the excitement happens. I'm here with hitting coach Francisco Morales. And Mo, thanks for being here today.
Pleasure to be here.
Want to learn a little bit about hitting? You willing to teach us a little bit?
Yeah, I think I can do that.
This is the funnest part of the game, right?
For me, it is.
Yeah.
One of it. One of the parts that brings me to the field every day and work with different type of swings and try to get these guys ready for the game.
One of the things that people might not recognize is guys, even at this level, you're a heartbeat away from the major leagues, still use a tee, right?
Yes.
We've got 2 tees. What are some of the, I guess, the basics that you're looking for when you're watching guys' swings, and what things they might be doing wrong that you're able to help correct?
Well, hitting off the tee is more about the barrel control. I want to control the barrel. I want to hit that ball in the barrel consistently. So it's a teaching tool. It's a great teaching tool. So when the guys work off the tee, they move the tee around the home plate area the strike zone, and just working on better of that ball.
What are you doing initially out of your setup as you're watching the pitch come in with your hands in relation to your hips? Can you kind of take us through a swing, a proper swing in your opinion?
Well, what you try to do with this, if you're having trouble, hitting the ball inside consistently, you're rolling over, you're rolling your top end over, so you put the tee in the inside part of the plate, and you work on getting your hands inside of it. And it started with the hitting position. Obviously the ball's sitting in there, different than the game, so you get in a good hitting position, you feel in your legs. So after the hitting position, you just work on the hands. This is a hands drill off the tee to correct my swing path.
So this is when guys are throwing you in, you might be more accustomed to swinging with your hands closer to your body?
The problem is that some of these guys, and not only here, but through baseball, especially on the younger level, that inconsistency of getting to a good hitting position is the swing, and timing. So here we just work on our timing and hitting positions. That's our main goal. That's our main first thing to do.
Players these days, you're always hearing about launch angles now, right? And this wasn't a thing when you were playing, was it?
No.
So are guys taught at maybe younger levels now to try and elevate the ball? Because you and I were talking beforehand to say, hey, people still come to the game to see the home runs, right? I mean, that's the exciting part. We're seeing more and more of them now. Is that incorporated into some of the routines for guys here?
Yeah, definitely. There's some guys that work on hitting the ball in the air. Yeah. Obviously, I don't want, nice little, no disrespect, but a little guy to try to hit the ball in the air. But now power hitters and strong hitters, they want to hit the ball in the air, because if you hit the ball on the ground, you 85% out, especially in the big leagues. If you hit the ball on the ground in the big leagues, you will now. And power hitters, they're usually not that fast. They don't run well. So anything in the ground, that's an easy now.
So are you kind of under, like dipping down a little bit?
Not like that.
Okay, all right, you show me. All right. Well, I'm gonna take some swings and you can break down my swing, all right?
Well, what we try to do this day, or what the players are trying to do this day, is creating their launch angle, which is started in my backside and this back curveball right here. So the connection on my backside and my back curveball comes together. So I try to get this angle.
Okay.
I want to get this 90-degree on my arm.
Yeah.
That 90-degree angle, if you can understand that, 90 is this position. Try to push the ball up.
Can you take some swings for us?
I think
Are you gonna hit me? I gotta move out of the way.
No, I think I
You still got it?
I think, yeah, that's easy. I can hit that ball in the air.
Now, one of the other things we were talking about is the bat size these days. Yes. And it used to be use maybe a bigger bat, but with guys throwing harder and trying to launch the ball, there's a tendency now for guys to use smaller bats.
Yeah, it's because of the velocity. It's more guys that throw hard. It's guys that in the 7, 8, and 9. Most of the teams now, they got a guy that throws 97 into 100.
We got a few of those guys too.
We have a few of those guys. So the guys try to use a lighter bat, better balanced bat. They can whip through the zone. You don't want something heavy that you need to carry through the zone, which is you're gonna be beat by a 95, 100 mile per hour fastball. So that's why you see the bats break more, because they lighter. They're better bats, better wood, but the handles are thicker, so therefore you create more bat speed.
Lastly, all right, you've got two different types of tees here, right?
Yeah.
This tee you were saying earlier is for a different type of drill. Can you take us through what that drill might be? And
that tee we use it more to hit a low pitch. Obviously, the guys try to throw the ball down and down. That's what they teach them. So with this tee, this drill is to elevate the ball, because you don't want to hit that pitch and that high in the ground.
This is to help guys who are getting ground ball outs consistently.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a pitch that you don't want to swing at, right?
Maybe you don't. Yeah, maybe you don't want to swing that, but that pitch sometimes being called a strike.
Yeah.
Especially if you facing a guy that the ball moves, a little sink. So if we're facing a sinking baller today, a couple of guys would hit off to this tee, try to get under the ball, or not under the ball, I would say, try to barrel the ball away from the ground.
You want to take a look at my swing?
Yeah.
Yeah? He hesitated.
Yeah, the kids will love it.
Just to let you know, I was bad in high school, and that was a long time ago. All right, here we go. Whoa!
Whoa!
But I got to keep that 90 degree, right?
Yeah, you got to keep your hands close to you.
Am I hitting position?
Yes.
Okay.
You're good.
All right.
Don't hurt nothing. Roll over.
Roll over. That's
Why did we talk about the top end?
We didn't talk about it, so I got to
Yes.
keep.
Get that 90-degree angle.
Okay.
All right, on your back side. And you're going to hit the ball in the air. Is that easy?
One more. No. Hitting instructions with hitting coach Francisco Morales. Mo, thanks a lot, buddy.
No problem. Pressure.
All right. Back with more here on Flying Squirrels Insider. Look at those hands, man.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not bad.
I warmed it up for you. Well, sadly, that's all the time we have today. Sam, it was a blast, wasn't it?
It certainly was, Jay.
Well, we look forward to another edition of Flying Squirrels Insider coming up in 2 weeks. We're going to have a lot to talk about, all-star performances, home run derbies, you name it, we'll have it. Flying Squirrels Insider has been a treat to bring to you, and we thank all of our guests on the show, including Steve Ruckman and Francisco Morales. For my broadcast partner, Sam Ravitch, and everybody here at the WCBE studios, my name's Jay Burnham saying so long, everybody.
Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Flying Squirrels, and by
Smell gas? Act fast. Don't just stand there. Leave the area. Get out. Go where the smell is no longer present and call 911. Making you aware, keeping you safe. We're Richmond's Natural Gas Safety Awareness Program.